Okay, we're going to start with Hunter. He was a 2013 graduate for us as a freshman. He came into high school and he was an athlete, but he wasn't necessarily a standout in middle school track. My first time working with him was on the cross country team. I think he was a sub 20 freshman 5K kid. He claimed to be a really good triple jumper. He didn't have a winter sport. He hadn't played basketball before. He was definitely had some confidence. He did have our 8th grade triple jump record. With, I believe, 37 or 38 feet. So it was a solid jump, but it just didn't, I hadn't really heard about him, winning every meet or anything. And we definitely had other athletes on the male side that had dominated far more so than Hunter ever had. So I kind of took everything he was saying with a grain of salt because of his attitude and everything. Freshman year, he did in track, he did emerge as a varsity jumper for us. We were 4A at the time. And he got third at state as a freshman in the triple jump. Just kind of blew up at the end of the season there, hitting in the low 42s, I believe. Now, because he was already so confident, I didn't want to just keep feeding that ego, and he feels like he can maybe just rest on his laurels. So I explained to him, even as a freshman, after state track, that, hey, yeah, it's awesome you got third. You got a lot of potential as a jumper here, but this was kind of a weak year. You can't expect 42 feet. To get you a third place medal in 4A in the future. So I wasn't shy about telling him what he needed to work on now going forward to continue to build on that success. So we talked about goals for his sophomore year and where he might want to be by senior year. And you already start talking about college. That, hey, you have the potential, if this is something you're interested in, you could jump at the collegiate level. With an athlete his caliber, we really were needing to find what that fourth event was going to be for him. Tried him in relays, tried him in individual events. After the strong cross country, I tried him in the 1600, and nothing really came around at first. His sophomore year, he actually missed most of the outdoor track season. We don't have an indoor season, but he missed most of the track season with a broken back, and we're still not 100% what the cause was. I'll get to some theories here in a second, but after the first couple weeks, he still came out, PR'd, beginning of sophomore year with some great jumps, but then about third meet, he was done. He just couldn't jump on that back anymore, and it cost him the rest of his sophomore year. We started off junior year, and we weren't high jumping. He kind of felt with the arching on his back that he wasn't comfortable high jumping, so we held him out of that, and but he started off in that long jump and triple jump like he hadn't missed a beat. He was one of the top long jumpers, triple jumpers in class 4A, and the new event we tried with the javelin with his explosiveness, and he had a baseball background. I don't know if that's good or bad, but picked up the javelin pretty well. So anyway, having a good year, and here's kind of the first lesson, I guess we'll say, when we get to this whole sports psychology thing. So we're at the Heston meet, so this is the week before our league meet at his junior year, and he felt comfortable enough that he wanted to try the high jump again. So I don't even know if he did anything in practice more than get his step down. And he goes into the Heston meet and does his long jump and triple jump great. I guess long story short, he broke our school record and went 6'9" in high jump after not having done it in a year. You look at why something like that might occur. And I think there's two big things there. Is one, physiologically, the importance of having your jumpers fresh. But I think more so than that is expectations or lack thereof. He went into this meet to high jump with no expectations. He just wanted to see if he could high jump. It wasn't even about winning. It wasn't even about jumping high. It was just seeing if he could compete in the high jump competition, and physically get through it. So he had no expectations. And I think because of that, you're completely relaxed. Maybe he's nervous about the injury, but as far as performance expectations, there were none. And I think that puts you in a great position to be able to succeed and relax, and he did just that. And of course, what's really cool too is, high jumpers, famously, you always end on a miss, right? Because you keep going up, keep going up, and at some point you just you miss, and everybody fails. Even the Olympic champion, right? They fail in the last attempts. He cleared a 6'9" and walked away. It was like something out of an old western or something, and really cool to see. Broke our school record, went 6'9", and just said, "I'm good. Flash forwarding to regional that year, and he's the #1 ranked triple jumper in 4A. You had the 4 field events, the 3 jumps and the javelin, and everything's kind of real spread out. We were over in Tawanda Circle. Triple jump was last, so he made state in high jump, he made state in long jump. He just missed in javelin, throwing in the mid 150s, I believe, and comes over to get his long jump or his triple jump prelims in, and his steps off, and you kind of just hope he's going to take care of himself. He fouls the first 2 jumps, so now it becomes a panic mode. And the adjustments probably weren't made properly by him or myself or other coaches, and he tried to look down. He got a jump off, but it was at a tough regional. I think it was 40-41, but and it didn't make finals. So that was another big lesson that you can be the best at something, but it doesn't mean you always get in. Even you see that maybe with high jumpers and pole vaulters a lot of time. Or a sprinter fall starting maybe, but something like triple jump, or you think you're going to still get in if you're the #1 ranked. But so I remember I sat down with him for just 30 seconds. I didn't want to, maybe he's a star, but I didn't want to put my whole coaching energy into one athlete who had a bad performance in one event at the regional track meet, even as good as he is. So I sat down with him for 30 seconds. I said, hey, this sucks. It's not the end of the world. Why don't you just go win state in long jump next week? And that's exactly what he did. He did get his first state title. He won long jump the following week. His parents wanted to give it a javelin. They said, no, javelin's gone. Javelin cost him triple jumps. We're done with javelin. And I knew that was coming from an emotional place. And even if this was, I don't think this was at regional. I think this may have been within the week or 2 after. But I didn't say yes or no. I wasn't going to have that conversation. I didn't necessarily blame javelin. 4 field events is tough to get everywhere you need to get, but I wasn't going to make a decision at that time, and I just kind of punted that conversation for later. My note here is very little of my work with Hunter, especially that senior year, was about anything technique related. Of course, we had another jumps coach, but even that aside, it was really just working on the mental side of things and how he approached it, because he was just so excited and explosive, and I just had to make sure he stayed in check, both from ego and just from maybe overworking and those kinds of things. So my next big story on the sports psychology side of things with Hunter here is we're at the KU relays his senior year, qualified in all 4 events with the marks he had. Let's see, high jump didn't go that well. Triple jump, again, he failed to make finals. I think he actually medaled in the javelin. And so, it's a 2-day meet. So Friday night, we're out to dinner, just, the handful of athletes that are, and the coaches that are there. And Hunter, obviously upset about not making finals in the triple jump. We know he has the marks. It's not about the marks. He's not jumping well enough. He's not jumping near his marks at these big meets now. If you look at regional, and then at KU relays. And so here's the big thing we talked about at dinner that night. He was just so worried about how far he was jumping that he wasn't taking care of everything he needed to take care of on the runway. So our huge point of emphasis, and this is going to be the emphasis in a lot of these next stories I'm going to tell with these other athletes, is worry about the process. Do what you need to do on the runway and let the distance take care of itself. Don't worry about how far you're jumping. Just go through the process, do one step at a time, take care of everything you need to take care of mentally and physically on the approach run, and the rest will take care of itself. Go out the next day, and he won the long jump at the KU relays. So not even his best event. I think he took that lesson to heart, and from then on. And it was great to see that. So here's my summary on Hunter. With 3 state gold medals, he won the long jump senior year as well. Did finally get his triple jump state title. Huge PR at the regional meet that year. I was a 47.5. I mean, it was just a fun jumper to have. Pulled out that javelin PR at state to get 3rd in class. I think we were down to class 3A by that point. So 32 points by himself at the state track meet there. Very, very cool. My lesson I wrote that I learned from Hunter here is, encourage the swagger, but make sure you humble it from time to time. update on where Hunter is now. So he's getting ready to start his 4th year, I guess now, at Wichita State, and he's had some more injuries there. So he's redshirted once or twice with medical stuff, but he has won the Missouri Valley Conference for Wichita State in the heptathlon and the decathlon, and he actually just missed NCAA nationals in the decathlon by 30 points last year, coming off of Tommy John surgery on his elbow. So if he stays healthy, this is a kid. The WSU staff is very confident we'll see at NCAA nationals in the future.